I would like to start the town council regular meeting for October 16th for 2023. Roll call, please.
Councilor Schoen.
Present.
Councilor Mellon. Councilor Tulowitzki.
Present.
Councilor Kulturitis.
Present.
And Councilor Gardner. As Councilor Gardner is not here this evening, our Vice President will be running the meeting.
All right, we will have a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you everyone for coming. Right now, we're gonna have Representative Andrade to present the state congratulatory certificates and recognition of years of service and commitment and dedication to various members of the Munster Police Department. Representative Andrade.
Thank you, council members. Is this on?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, council members, town manager, our treasurer, legal counsel, and everyone here in attendance today. It's an honor to be here with you all. I haven't been here in a minute, so I appreciate the opportunity. Before I get started with my remarks, I actually want to say thank you to some of the council members who are not running for re-election. I appreciate your dedication and service that you have given to our town. As a resident of the town of Munster, not only as your state representative, I understand how challenging and how much time and effort you got to give to the community away from your family. So I really appreciate it. And I express my sincere gratitude for the work that you guys have done these years. And I give you my deepest sympathy and wish you could run again, but if you don't, I understand. But I wish you the best in your future endeavors. It takes a lot to run for office, and for the town council member who is here, who's running for re-election, I wish you good luck on this upcoming election. But it's truly an honor to serve the community. So anyone that decides to put their name wanting to run for office, I commend them for doing that. So thank you for our council who is giving from their time and unfortunately decided not to run, and wish you the best for your future endeavors. I'm here because I have been a strong supporter of our first responders, our police officers, and our firefighters here in the community and throughout our state. And recently, I had my office give me some information that we had 2 of our officers and 1 of our employees for the police department celebrating 25 years of service. 25 years. That's a lot. Nowadays, the longevity is something that you don't see, unfortunately, and with employees. And that shows and reflects the leadership of the town and everyone else, that for an employee to still be working for the town of Munster, and especially when it comes to public safety, is something that we should recognize. And so when my office gave me that information, I called our Munster police chief and I said, I would like to do something special to recognize them from the state of Indiana, the House of Representatives, for those years of service. Then after that, I will be recognizing other officers. Recently, I had the opportunity to do a ride-along with some of our Munster police officers, and the dedication and commitment and the work that I saw them and the time that they go beyond just only when they're on duty, but off duty, really needs to be recognized. And that's why I'm here to recognize them for their work and dedication. And, you know, it takes a lot to put your life on the line every day to make sure that our community is safe. So I'll get to that in a minute. So first, I want to recognize 2 officers who are not here today. I think they're on vacation, rightfully so, enjoying some time with their families. But the first one is Officer Kevin Cooley, and he has completed 25 years of service here with the town. So I wanted to recognize him. I have a certificate from my office here, and I know he's one of our school resource officers. He does a great job within our schools. This session, we just completed giving $25 million additional funding for school safety grants for our schools to make sure they're able to utilize some of the money, including being able to have funding for school resource officers. So I commend Officer Cooley for the work that he does here with our students and keeping our students safe at the school. The next one is Sergeant Jack DeLue, who also completed 25 years of service. And I appreciate Sergeant Jack for his commitment, dedication on 25 years, but also his leadership as a sergeant. He's a second shift, what I would consider second shift, a sergeant who supervises the second shift crew. And I see firsthand the work that the second shift officers have been doing in our community to keep our community safe. So I recognize Sergeant Jack DeLue for that. And then we got Kathleen Tillman. You got Kathleen here. And I gotta tell you about Kathleen. Every time I go to our Munster Police Department to meet with our chief or have to do some official business over there, Kathleen is always in the front. She's the first one that greets you when you come in, and she's always very kind, very gracious. And I appreciate that. And I'm sure she has to deal with all the residents that come in through those doors and non-residents as well, having to do with all the paper and our officers that she has to work with as well. And she's a great team player and does a great job. And it takes all of us in the community to work together. And so there's not one job, but I personally think that one job is better than another. I think all of us have the same opportunity, and it's all of us responsibility to work together to make sure their communities are thriving and heading in the right direction. That's why, Kathleen, is very important that we honor you today as the clerk. And it says here in the certificate, State of Indiana House of Representatives, be heard by known and proclaim that clerk Kathleen M. Tillman is recognized upon the occasion for her 25 years of service. Thus, as a member of the 123rd Indiana General Assembly, I would like to congratulate and thank you for the years of dedication, service, and protection you have given to the Northwest Indiana community. Mike Andrade, State Representative. And so, Kathleen, would you mind coming at this time and receiving? Council members, I'm sorry that I'm taking a little bit more time than your normal agenda that you probably had me on the list. So I apologize on that in advance. Hopefully you guys don't stay too late and blame it on the state rep, and then you can invite me back. Next, I would like to recognize our Sergeant Brian Vassar. As I mentioned recently, I had the opportunity to do a ride along with Officer Alex Relio and Vader. Of course, you cannot forget Vader. Vader does a great job. And I saw they're working in this Lake County special operations initiative that they have with like 18 other agencies. The work, the stress, the quick response that our officers have to do. It was quiet for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna say what I was thinking. I said, oops, it hit the fan. It went crazy. All the way to about 1 in the morning, our officers were out there nonstop, dealing with the challenges of our community, dealing with, unfortunately, bad actors that come in and want to commit crime, criminals. And these officers were handling their jobs in a very professional manner. They were committed to keeping the community safe. They were quick in their response. The radio calls were going crazy with all the different agencies. They kept their composure. I would say they were calm, cool, and collective. And a lot of that it had to do because of the leadership of Sergeant Brian Vassar, who was managing, who was supervising that second shift that evening. So at this time, I would like to have Sergeant Brian Vassar come up and get a certificate from the state. He and Nick spoke before. He understands the actual certificate. My office made a small mistake, and I'm very big on making sure that I have OCD. So I have to make sure everything's precise and perfect. And there was a small mistake on his certificate. I had to return it back. So his should be coming here in the next 24 hours. But I wanted to congratulate and honor Sergeant Vassar for his leadership, his dedication. And not only that, he wasn't just the sergeant that you see in a patrol car. He was out there actually doing some of the spikes interventions that they were doing that time. He was out there himself, putting his life on the line, throwing a spike with Officer Ballich as they were trying to deviate this person who was probably going 80 miles an hour to stop him from continuing to roam through our region and create chaos. So he was out there himself physically out of the patrol car. And that shows leadership, it shows commitment, and it shows the type of officers that we have here in the town of Munster that we ought to be very proud of. So Sergeant Vassar, thank you so much. And on behalf of the 123rd General Assembly of the House of Representatives, congratulations for everything that you do to keep our community safe. Thank you. Next is Officer Daniel Balich. Now, my office received a lot of emails from this gentleman because my office put something on social media and he went viral. He is very well liked, I see, by the community. I don't know if it's the hair or the beard or what it is, but I gotta tell you, my emails were flooding up. Who is this officer? Where's he at? Like, that's right there, Munster police officer. So Officer Balich, I got to see him as well that evening firsthand. He was out there active, working to keep our community safe, being responsive to the calls, risking his life on the longest was. He was out there with Sergeant Vassar, deploying these spikes to get after these criminals who were out there creating chaos during that evening. So this time I would like to bring Officer Balich up here, please. State of Indiana House of Representatives, we are hereby known and proclaim that Officer Daniel Balich is recognized upon the occasion for his commitment and dedication to protecting the residents of the town of Munster. Thus, as a member of the 123rd Indiana General Assembly, I would like to congratulate and thank you for the years of dedicated service and protection you have given to our Northwest Indiana community. Mike Andrade, State Representative, House District 12. Thank you, Officer Balich. Next, I have Officer Luke Tambrini. Now, when the State House and our capital in Indianapolis knows who Officer Luke Tambrini is, that tells you something. He's like, you have a superstar officer over there who's every day in the news. He is just catching criminals left and right. Who is this guy? We want him to work for the state police. I said, no, we need him in Munster. But this gentleman has also received a lot of accolades, and I received a lot of correspondence about how people are very appreciative. I was recently in a meeting at the sheriff's office, his name was brought up. And we truly are blessed here in the community that we have all these officers. And specifically one officer here, Luke Tambrini, as I saw him, it was, like I said, chaotic. The radios were going crazy. We were chasing people on 8094 on the Bourbon Expressway. Helicopters, agencies everywhere, canine dogs barking to find these guys. And these people, these criminals did not have any respect for no one around them. And these officers were out there risking their lives. And at one moment, it calmed down for a little bit. And I said, well, you know, someone's got to eat. These officers got to eat. We got to eat. I was a little hungry too myself. And I said, you know, hey, let me buy you guys some dinner. And some of the officers said, you know, they agreed. And I still remember Officer Luke Tambrini said, I'm sorry, Rep, I'm not taking a break. I gotta be out there. That's the dedication that we have from our officer, that sometimes they don't even get an opportunity on their own to say, I'm gonna eat something. Because they're so dedicated, they're so passionate about their jobs, that they're willing just to be out there in the streets, making sure that our communities are safe. At this time, I would like to bring Officer Luke Tambrini. State of Indiana House of Representatives, we are hereby and proclaim that Officer Luke Tambrini is recognized upon the occasion for his commitment and dedication to protecting the residents of the town of Munster. Thus, as a member of the 123rd Indiana General Assembly, I would like to congratulate and thank you for the years of dedicated service and protection you have given to our Northwest Indiana community. Thank you. Last but not least, Officer Alex O'Brien. I'm still alive. I got to go right along with him. It was chaotic. I was holding on. My seatbelt was on. It got crazy out there. But Officer Alex O'Brien always kept his composure. I was talking to Chief about that today, very level headed. Once again, radio conversations going back and forth. We're going through some heavy traffic, going at a high speed to go after these criminals. Very big awareness. Every time we would get to a traffic light, he would stop, be conscientious of his surroundings, of the other drivers on the streets. He was conscientious that he had the rep on with him and later on the back. And I remember one particular situation. We ended up in Dalton, Harvey, somewhere in Illinois we ended up. And he goes, Mike, he goes, the radio is saying that this individual is going this way. I bet you he's gonna end up this way. Awareness about his job. Sure enough, he took a different route, and guess who passes by us? That person in a high speed. His awareness, his first class dedication, the whole time as we dealt with the situations, kept his composure, understood the radio traffic, and I'm like, how in the world is he listening to this radio traffic? Because it was chaotic, and his awareness of his senses and everything going on. Understanding what he was driving the vehicle and how to be able to, when to go on a high speed, when not to. Understand that he had Vader behind him, when to bring him out of the vehicle, when not to. It was really impressive to see Officer Alex Relio and his skill sets and how he handles Vader. I cannot be more proud of an officer here in our department. And I'm not picking and choosing the rest of officers. Every officer who works for us, everyone who risks their life on the line is to be accoladed and brought up to and just highly talked about. But this officer definitely is who you say, hey, we definitely want our K9 or our Vader to be in this handler's hand because of how aware he was. He was so aware in his back of the seat about the bowl of water and food that Vader has in the back. And just Vader's his partner. That's who he is. And he was so aware of that. Recently, I was able to do my annual fundraiser for the canines, and I gave him a call. He had just finished working the highway. And he came with me on a Monday afternoon in this pouring rain. And we're knocking all the businesses in the community to give them a flyer and let them know that we would like to support for the fundraiser. And he had just finished that night a shift, had worked a double pretty much. And yet, instead of going home, he went with me for several hours to knock doors with a smile. And guess what? It wasn't shocking to me that every business owner in the community knew him and knew Brad as well, the other canine officer. That's the partnership, that's the collaboration that our officers have with our community. That everyone in our community knows our officers. There's something that we should have applied in the town of Munster. And it's a rest of myself and the state rep. It's a joy to see that our community cares for officers and our officers cares for our community. That's what it should be. That is true policing. That is true community as we all come together. And I was just in awe to see how Officer Alex Relio really is dedicated to his job. And he didn't care that he had just worked a double. He was out there with me, talking to the business owners so that we could have a good fundraiser. And we actually had a really great fundraiser. So at this time, I would like to bring Officer Relio and Vader. State of Indiana House of Representatives, we are hereby known and proclaim that Officer Alex Relio is recognized upon the occasion for his commitment and dedication to protecting the residents of the town of Munster. Thus, as a member of the 123rd Indiana General Assembly, I would like to congratulate and thank you for the years of dedicated service and protection you have given to our Northwest Indiana community, you and Vader. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone giving me the opportunity of being gracious with me, with my remarks and honoring these heroes who are out there every day risking their lives to make sure that when I go to sleep at night, my family goes to sleep, I have nothing to worry about. Now, when I wake up, I have nothing to worry about. As my family travels to the community of Munster, they have nothing to worry about. Because we have officers out there who are working hard. Their awareness, their dedication, and their commitment to keep our community safe. Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming in and, presenting those certificates to our police board gentlemen. Congratulations on that tonight. Yeah, absolutely. A couple of photos.
Nice to see
Leadership.
They
actually went out there and said we were gonna expose it.
All right, that'll work. Okay, cool. Happy. No problem. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, right. I'll take one to the waiting for you guys. All right. Good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, that brings us to public hearing, additional appropriations on number 4. Wendy, would you like to add anything to this before I open the public hearing?
I do not. We had first reading and it's been properly advertised, so we're gonna be going.
Okay, well then I will open the floor to anybody who wants to speak in regard to the additional appropriations tonight. You step up to the podium, state your name and your address. Anybody interested in speaking tonight? Anybody online? Dustin?
No, sir.
I will close the public
Oh,
hearing.
wait, one moment.
Yeah.
There is one resident, Mr. Michael G. Michael, if you'd like to unmute, the floor is yours for a moment.
This is the public hearing.
This is the public hearing portion on the appropriations.
Sorry, so is this on the appropriations only?
Yes,
Right now, yes, Michael.
Okay, there'll be additional public
Yeah.
comments
Exactly.
after this?
In about 3 seconds.
Sounds great. Sorry, I'll wait till then.
I will close the public hearing on additional appropriations, then moves us into a public comment. We kindly ask that all in-person public comments be limited to 2 minutes maximum per person or 5 minutes for group spokesman. Please keep your comments civil and constructive and related to public policy issues. In the event of questions are posed to the council, we'll note the question in the meeting minutes, and then we will refer the question to the appropriate department or staff to follow up and respond. Public comments may also be submitted electronically. If you have any questions or comments about an item on agenda, you can enter it at email and question to Dustin Anderson at theanderson@munster.org. All right, anybody interested in speaking at the public comment? Michael, I'm gonna let you go first since you were ready to roll. So.
Sounds great. Appreciate it. So Michael Gephardt, 10380 Oxford Place. We've had a lot of big developments in the town that have opened up or have been proposed and seem to be going through. Centennial and the Lansing Country Club and the community hospital campus, and now Franciscan is growing, and Maple Leaf, and on and on and on. And I've voiced concern several times regarding traffic. I'm not going to talk about Ridge Road, so you're probably happy to hear about that. But I've mentioned Calumet many, many times because all of those developments that I just mentioned are all pushing the traffic onto Calumet. And each one of these developments required a traffic study. But that traffic study was for the individual developments only. And I was pleased to hear in one of the meetings last week, not the BZA meeting, but the other one. Sorry, name escapes me at the moment. But Mr. Baker brought up the point of, is there a comprehensive, like, all traffic plan for all of these different developments that's been looked at for Calumet? Because it seems like we're just pushing more and more traffic onto Calumet, and like we all use Calumet, and it's getting more and more difficult as it is to travel down Calumet. and we're pushing more and more traffic to it. You know, we didn't open up a connection to Wentworth from the Lansing Country Club development. Well, that means that all the traffic is pretty much pushed on to Calumet. You know, the delivery trucks and everything else that's proposed to be going back there. It's just a lot of traffic, and it seems short-sighted if we're not going to do a comprehensive plan with all of these projects included, and to make sure we've got enough you know, room for all of this growth and flow of traffic can be addressed. You know, half of my commute into the city at this point is getting from my house to the freeway. So I hope we have that. I've never heard it, and if we don't, let's look into getting it. That's it. Thanks.
Michael, I can relate to that also because from where I live, it's a challenge to get to the expressway. I believe the comprehensive plan is probably going to be one of the priorities of the next council that's going to be coming in to evaluate the various projects and see how they can get Calumet flowing properly. And Dustin's waving his hand at, so I'm going to let him kind of tune in on this too. Dustin.
No, you're exactly right, Dr. Kulturitis. The comprehensive plan that's in process does have transportation and traffic as an element of the scope of work. So that will be a deliverable that the town will receive from House of Living.
Excuse me, Council President, we cannot hear him back here, I'm sorry.
You're going to have to speak a little louder. Yeah, you're going to have to do all this one.
I just wanted to reiterate, reiterate Dr. Kulturitis' statement that the comprehensive plan will indeed include elements of transportation and traffic as a deliverable to the town of Munster.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? I will close the public comment section. That moves us into the consent agenda. Gentlemen,
Mr. President, I move we accept the consent agenda.
is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes. Moving on to old business, we have ordinance 1918 additional appropriations. This is what we just spoke about.
Exactly.
All righty. The councilman.
Mr. President, I move, or Mr. Chairman. Vice President, Dr. Kulturitis. I move that we approve the ordinance 1918 as presented. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes. Moves us to ordinance 1919, stormwater ordinance and technical standard manual. Anything additional on this, Jill?
No, this is the second read and it has not changed from its original version.
All right, beautiful. Gentlemen,
I move that we adopt ordinance 1919 for stormwater management as presented.
I'll second.
any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes. Moves us to ordinance 1920, an ordinance amending the 50/50 sidewalk improvement program. You don't have anything else on this? Dustin, anything else on this?
Yes, this ordinance has changed since you last saw it. Additionally, we propose using a state of Indiana metric for the threshold for financial assistance. After discussion with staff and council, we decided to modify that to be the household income for the town of Munster. 60% of the household income, which we all thought would be an easier thing, an easier threshold for a resident to hit, and a more simple metric to verify from a staff perspective. So not only did we make it more attainable for the resident, we made it easier to administrate from a staff perspective. There was some conversation earlier today between myself and the clerk treasurer's office. There was a question, should the threshold be met by the landlord or the renter in a rental situation? We all agreed that it would be the landlord's responsibility. If you would like to just make that edit at the table and have the motion reflect that as revised, that could be your option if you chose to do that.
Thank you, Dustin. Gentlemen.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt ordinance 1920 and ordinance amending the 50/50 sidewalk program, indicating that the landlord of a rental property will be the responsible party.
Second.
Is that an appropriate way to capture the intent of?
You're technically amending what's there, so I
We're
guess,
amending what was,
right,
what the first.
amending to add, because I'm looking at the red line that really doesn't address it.
No, it
That's
came
it.
in today,
Yeah.
that question. Good question, valid question. And everyone agrees that it would be the landlord's responsibility. It did not make the red line version. So if council would like to insert that as,
So it would be, your motion would be to approve it with an amendment to make that addition.
I would amend my motion to approve ordinance 1920. 50/50 public sidewalk replacement program with an amendment to clarify that the homeowner of a rental property is the landlord of that property.
And it's that their income is what?
And their income, and therefore their income is what would need to match to meet the thresholds as laid out in the ordinance.
Second. The senior attorney, not even said, so that's good. All right, great. All right,
I'll take that paperwork and provide it.
any discussion?
Thanks for the assist on that. I do think that's important. And this change, if anyone's tracking from the last time, it's like a 48% increase in the minimum threshold. So we do think this can provide a meaningful assistance to people who will need to replace their sidewalks, but may not be able to really afford that. We also don't think it's going to be a whole lot of people who are impacted by this, but if you're one of those people, it's important.
All right, roll call.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
And Counselor Kulturitis.
Moving on to new business, clerk treasurer, cash drawer authorization level.
We'd like to add a little extra cash to our cash drawers. We're finding some days we're a little short, and we need council's authority to bump that up by $100.
And you think that's enough?
Yes. Or now.
I noticed in the recommended action, it mentions the consent agenda.
Oh, we'll fix that. It's a memo, so. As part of
You're
the
just reading that.
I'll sure so.
It doesn't seem to be necessary to the motion.
Yes.
So, Mr. President, I would move to authorize a $100 cash drawer increase for the office of the clerk treasurer for the total cash drawer of $500.
There a second? Yeah. Any discussion? Roll call.
Hold on, I'm sorry. You know, there's only two of you, and it's still needed a minute to chat in, which is now. Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm good.
All right.
We're ready to roll.
Item B, release of retainage 22-1 CCMG White Oak, Cypress, Crestwood, Hawthorne. It's the final release of some money. Who would like to make a comment on this?
We've run through the punch list a number of times with the contractor, and everybody's satisfied with their work, so we're ready to close out the contract and release their retainage.
Mr. President, I move to approve the final release of retainage for the 2022-1 CCMG roadway and water main improvements, Hawthorne, Cypress, Crestwood, White Oak, in the amount of $116,351.98.
Yes. Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Schoen, Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes. Item C, crack ceiling quotes.
We solicited quotes from several asphalt companies to do some crack sealing on our more major roadways, Calumet Avenue, I can't remember the other ones, Columbia, among others. The crack sealing process will, eliminate cracks in the roadway that will cause deterioration during the winter months. So, we received 2 quotes and we're recommending that we hire the low quoter.
Then I move to approve the quote from Pavement Solutions Incorporated for crack sealing in the amount of $114,050.
Second,
Any discussion? Roll call.
it was about sealing cracks in the road, not cracking the ceiling. Just to clarify.
Just trying to cut them off before we got. Yeah.
You tried, Dr.
It's a very base bill.
Counselor Schoen, how do you
Yes.
vote on this one? Yes, thank you. Counselor Tulowitzki?
Yes.
Thank you. And Counselor Kulturitis?
Yes. All right, item D, Public Works, D-track mower purchase, change of vendor.
So this was, this purchase was approved by council, a while back, but, the vendor was incorrectly listed and it needs to be changed. And so we need your approval to authorize payment to the new vendor.
It's a $0 change.
It's a $0 change.
Favorite, almost favorite.
Or you wouldn't rather have sheep?
All right.
On the audience,
Uh,
is there a show? This is-
Mr. President, I move to approve the vendor Deere and Company for the purchase of 2 John Deere Z-Track mowers.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis?
Yes. Or any reports? When do you have report anything?
Not today.
All right, portfolio report, anybody have anything? Nope. All right, announcement, all town council meetings will begin at 7 PM, otherwise noted. Our next meeting will be November 9th. Which is a Thursday because of the election, so make sure you guys go out and vote. I wish everybody the best, during the election. That brings us down to adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, good. We are going to be moving right into the redevelopment commission meeting. How you doing, sir? Good. All right. I'm ready.
I'm ready when you are all settled.
Okay. I will bring the redevelopment commission regular meeting for October 16th, 2023 to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoen.
Present.
Commissioner Mellon. Commissioner Tulowitzki.
Present.
Commissioner Kulturitis.
President.
And Commissioner Gardner. And our liaison to the school board, Mr. John Castro.
President.
Nice to see you this evening.
All right, that brings us to public comments. If anybody's interested in speaking tonight, please step up to the podium. If anybody interested in speaking. We'll close the public comment section, brings us down to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move we accept, Mr. Vice President. I move we accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Schoen.
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki.
Yes.
And Commissioner Kulturitis.
Yes. There's nothing, no old news, no new news, no report, no announcements, brings us down to adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
Very nice.
Great to see you all.